Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing out there? This is going to be an unusual show. First off, it is Tuesday, not Monday. There were scheduling discrepancies, but I am Gabriel Pickup of the Rutgers Voice of College Football. I will still be here. Donovan Gibbs may be coming in the next 15-20 minutes if we're still on. If not, then it's just going to be me today, Adam Lamparello, our usual host. Unfortunately, he has come down with the flu or just a wicked cold. He was doing a little bit of skiing, and I guess he's not very good with the cold after all. But if you like the show, make sure you like and hit the subscribe button. It would help us out a lot. And we're going to be talking today about we got a flip from Maryland. We got a 2027 tight end committing. And ultimately, what do we think about the defense? So, like I said, if you like the show, hit like and subscribe. We got the call-in link here, the StreamYard.com link. If you feel like calling in, being my co-host for the day, call-ins are much appreciated. And also follow Rutgers VOCFB on socials. So let's get down into it. First order of business. Now, this came on Thursday, and Adam would be ecstatic about it. And I'm sure Donovan's very happy about it too. But Adam's been calling for more Power 4 transfers to come to Rutgers, and Maryland defensive back Kevin Humes. He flips from Boston College to Rutgers. He might have a close relationship with their quarterback, who is now our quarterback, Dylan Lonergan. I think that's fair to assume. Now, last year, Ethan Kaliakmanis, he probably had the best statistical year at least since our prime days in 06, 07, 08. But if not possibly statistically the best quarterback year in Rutgers history. I don't remember anyone flipping just because he was here last year or the year prior from Minnesota. If I'm wrong, call me out for it, or let me know on the call-in link. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't remember that happening under him. I don't remember it happening under any Rutgers quarterback. So is that a reasonable conclusion that Humes flipped because Dylan Lonergan committed here? Humes originally committed to Boston College on the 7th, and then he flipped on the 22nd. And Dylan Lonergan came here a few days after the portal opened up. I want to say it was like the 9th or the 10th. It's Adam's favorite guy from the portal. He hypes him up a lot. So I'm sure that Kevin Humes will be good, but he's definitely a mystery transfer. We have the fact that he's only a sophomore. He's going to be a junior next year. He had 16 tackles last season, 1 pass deflection, but 8 of those tackles came against Florida Atlantic week 1. So, it might be a little padded. He has a 37-inch vertical, 4.4 40-yard time, which is great for a corner. Great for any secondary position. He was named to PFF's Week 4 Big Ten Team of the Week. He is 6 foot even, 185 pounds, 75.7 overall PFF grade. So he is efficient enough to be a starter because starting caliber grades are usually between 70 to 85. He's hovering around being an average starter. So he doesn't have impressive stats necessarily for starting nickelback, but he does have really good efficiency. And I'm excited for him and Zamir Dawood to possibly be our 2 starting cornerbacks next year. There's a lot to be desired. There's a high ceiling. It's kind of a high risk, high reward situation because we're bringing in question marks, but with a lot of potential. And I said last year we were playing Moneyball, but this year it really feels like we're playing Moneyball. And we're going to get more into that in a little bit. So that's the order of business for step 1 is Kevin Humes flips from Boston College to Rutgers. And now, next, we have 2027 tight end Sidney Patilla. He has committed to the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, Rutgers University. 3-star West Orange, New Jersey, out of West Orange, New Jersey. He chose us over Kentucky, Syracuse, Boston College, West Virginia, Marshall, Temple, Liberty, UMass, Albany, Delaware State, and Rhode Island. That's 11 schools that he chose us over. So even though there's not necessarily a blue blood on that list, 1 in 12 chance. I would say we're probably the best overall program on that list. Either us or West Virginia or Syracuse, but we're the only Big Ten team on that list. So I think that he came here for some Big Ten competition and probably because we're the better program out of the bunch. He's 6'4", 218 pounds. So, he's a good size for a tight end. Definitely tall. We saw last year KJ Duff and Ian Strong use their height against Big Ten corners, and they had great years because of it. So maybe if you're not the fastest, don't run the best routes, you can still find a way to succeed. If you're tall, have good hands. So I'm definitely excited for him. He was the number 30 ranked tight end in his class of 2027. Top 20 New Jersey prospects per 247 Sports. Couldn't find any listings of a 40 time or a bench, but overall, definitely a promising hire. So, or not hire, definitely a promising commitment. And I'm definitely happy for Sidney Patillo to be here. I don't think there's any negatives out of either of these guys. Adam, I don't want to say he's Mr. Negative, but he poked some holes in one of these for sure. And if Donovan finds his way onto the show in the next 10, 20 minutes, then I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about both Humes and Sidney Patillo. But overall, that's all the news we got. There was a report, and it's kind of a concerning report, that since we joined the Big Ten in 2015, we've lost over $500 million in our athletic program. I don't know how the hell that's possible. And I've debated Adam about, should we stay in the Big Ten? Should we go to a different conference? I think competitively, we can certainly get there. We can certainly be eventually a top 10 team in the Big Ten. That should be the first goal, and then eventually push towards top 5. And, with our new athletic director, Kelly Zinn, we just hired a fella out of Penn State to be our NIL chair head. And hopefully this turns the tides a little bit. It's a terrible trajectory, though. Although this past year, it sounds silly to say, but we lost $75 million in our athletic program last year. But that's less than the average, about less than the average. No, that's more than the average. So we lost more last year than on an average Rutgers athletics year. So, it's like kind of getting to that point financially, if not for talent, where is the reward of winning 6 or 7 games in the Big Ten, is that enough to maintain being in the Big Ten? It doesn't seem like it. Sort of seems like, as we're taken more seriously, we might be losing more money. And maybe that's why we're not getting these consistent 4-stars and sprinkled in 5-star recruits, commits, transfers, joining the Rutgers Scarlet Knights program. And it sucks to say, but that we might have to change conferences. Or we can put our trust, I know what we are doing right now. We are putting our trust in Kelly Zinn to turn this ship around. But I tell you, it feels like we hit that iceberg already, just financially speaking. I mean, I don't think that we're necessarily out of the talent mix in the Big Ten. I think being in the Big Ten alone is a good reason for a lot of guys to come here. That's probably why Dylan Lonergan came here. That's probably why Kevin Humes, who was in the Big Ten, flipped from Boston College in the ACC, bottom of the ACC, might I add, to the Big Ten in Rutgers. We're better than Purdue. We're better than Michigan State. We're better than Northwestern, historically speaking. We're not the worst team in the Big Ten. It's just a matter of the finances. Do we have enough to turn this around and make it a financially stable program in the Big Ten? Not just in football, but in all of Rutgers athletics. And, we need to put some blind faith in this athletic department if we believe that eventually we can turn this into a profit and be taken seriously in the Big Ten. How many times can you say Big Ten in one episode? I guess I can say it a few more times. That remains to be seen. But ultimately, while we're here in the Big Ten, there's another one. We're going to have to just analyze the team and let the financial aspects sort of, let themselves figure it out when it comes to the program, the athletic department, the budget. I'm not a finance major. I know there's a lot of finance bros out there at Rutgers and in New Jersey who can maybe put in a good word about what this all means. But losing $550 million, I believe it is, doesn't sound too promising. But as for the transfer portal, as for how we have performed in the transfer portal, looking at stuff on paper in terms of sports, because I did go to school for sports media. So I feel like while I'm not qualified to say we're doomed in the Big Ten financially, I am qualified to talk about the transfer portal and our pickups. I am definitely happy with the addition of Kevin Humes. I'm happy because he was a Big Ten talent. I'm happy because he was put on a PFF Big Ten Team of the Week. I'm happy with his PFF grade overall. I'm happy that he's only a sophomore. He's going to be a junior next year. So there's a lot to be happy about with his addition. And 2027, still a year away, but Sidney Patilla, that is a good addition. Like I said, he is the number 30 ranked tight end. So that means there's 137 programs that are FBS. That means that he is in the 80th percentile, the 85th percentile for a starting tight end in that class. So I'm definitely happy about Sidney Patilla. And overall, I'm happy with our players that we got in the portal. I'm happy about Zamir Dawood from Villanova. I'm happy about Kevin Humes, obviously. Ty Morris out of Rice. He's sort of going to be the replacement guy for Dariel Jabom, who declared for the draft. I honestly don't think he's going to get drafted, but I do wish him the best of luck. If I were him, I really would have tried to compete for another year, put in a waiver to get another year of eligibility. I know that as things stood, he doesn't have that year of eligibility, but he is listed as a redshirt junior, meaning there might be a little bit of wiggle room. It's up to a court to decide, but you know what? We're seeing a lot of lawsuits with the portal and eligibility. He didn't want to deal with that. I don't blame him at all. So best of luck to Jabom, of course. So I'm happy with Ty Morris. He has very equal stats. I believe he's in the 80s for tackles. He is coming off of 2 straight years of being the guy at Rice as linebacker. And I'm happy with Rondo Porter, too. He is definitely going to be an instant impact starting defensive lineman. I'm happy with the defense, for real. It's like you can't really get worse from last year, especially with the defensive staff gone. But I am a little concerned with the fact that we still don't have a defensive staff, not defensive coordinator, not defensive lines coach, not secondary coordinator. We don't have a defensive staff, no linebacker coach, nothing. So I do think that getting rid of Rob Smith was the right move. I do think that clearing house defensively was the right move. But I don't know. It's been a month and a half? It's been between a month and a half. And we still don't have anybody. And we waited too long last year. And unfortunately, for better or worse, certainly worse this past year, we got stuck with Rob Smith. And I don't know how many more guys out of Schiano's first stint with Rutgers he can poach away from their current roles or look back to glory days. It doesn't seem like it's the right decision to make to keep digging in your old glory days. I feel like we need fresh starts defensively. And I don't know who's left. That's the thing. So the defensive staff is certainly a question, not just a question mark, but a risk. And I think that all of our additions in the portal are high risk, high reward. But with that being said, I guess we have a shorter episode this time around, just because unfortunately it was just me. But that's all we got for the Rutgers news, and no special segments this week or anything like that. But we should be back to a full house next week. And with that being said, you can look for us on Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, back to normal. Mondays moving forward, every Monday at 7 o'clock. And if there's any other breaking news, say defensive staff we finally get names out of it. You can see us when it breaks, assuming that we're not all busy, which, I don't think we will be. I mean, I haven't missed a show yet. So with that being said, like I said, catch us here every Monday at 7 o'clock. If you like the show, definitely like and subscribe. Subscribe to the VOCFB. Follow Rutgers VOCFB on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And I will catch you all next time with Adam Lamparello and Donovan Gibbs. And until then, go Scarlet Knights.